Am I the a-hole for putting my dog's wee-wee pads on the bathroom floor because my boyfriend has terrible aim and keeps missing the toilet? Hi, I'm Rachel, and welcome to the first ever episode of Snacks and Scandals, where snacks meet Reddit story scandals. Today's episode theme has to do with roommates, which I'm sure most of us have had some experiences with roommates, and some of us also have horror stories regarding some roommates. So we're going to take a deep dive into some of those stories today. And while we do that, our snack pairing for this episode is going to be easy cheese, because easy cheese also requires good aim. Now, I was kind of surprised when I went to Walmart to look for some easy cheese because I was initially looking for Cheese Whiz and all I could find was easy cheese. So am I the only one who thought that this was called Cheese Whiz? Cheese Whiz actually comes in a jar. So I thought that was kind of odd because all this time I thought that this was called Cheese Whiz. I think that's a much better name for it, and it should be Cheese Whiz. So if I refer to the easy cheese as Cheese Whiz, that is what I mean. With our easy cheese, we have some delicious apples. I love cheese and apples, and I thought that maybe the pairing of the easy cheese with the apples might be delicious. And then we have our Ritz crackers because on the can, it tells us that we need to use Ritz crackers. So that is what we are going to use for our spread. So let me get this open and cut into the apples and we'll give it a try. We have some apples cut up and our Ritz crackers open and ready to go. Let me know what snack you are snacking on while we read our Reddit stories. I hope you'll join me with some snacks. I want to try the apples first because I think that that will be good. Very artificial looking. Okay, let's pop her in. Wow. The easy cheese, aka Cheese Whiz, if you will, is extremely creamy. So creamy. I will give my overall thoughts at the very end and let you know what I think about the easy cheese and the apple. And the cracker. The cracker, it's buttery, very dry, as a cracker usually would be. So luckily, the easy cheese adds a little bit of moisture to our cracker. So I would love to hear from you if you would try this combination, or if you even like easy cheese. What do you put it on? Maybe there's things I'm not thinking of. Grab your own snacks and let's dive into our first Reddit story. This comes from Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for putting my dog's wee-wee pads on the bathroom floor because my boyfriend has terrible aim and keeps missing the toilet? My boyfriend, 30-year-old male, 30 years old, and I, 28-year-old female, have been together about a year, and when our city implemented lockdown for the virus, he decided to quarantine with me at my apartment as I live alone and have a nicer apartment, and he has several roommates. Mostly it has been going well, and thankfully we still both have jobs, except in the first few weeks I started noticing that the bathroom floor was suddenly always wet around the toilet. Oh my gosh. The sink is across the room from the toilet, so it's unlikely to be the sink. At first I thought it might be water, but soon realized that it was definitely pee. I asked my boyfriend about it nicely, and he apologized and said sometimes he has bad aim. Why? How hard is it? I asked him to try a little harder and he said sure. The floor continued to be frequently spattered with piss. And a few weeks later, I confronted him about it again because I think it's pretty gross to step in his pee several times a week. And it seems like an easy thing to fix. If he misses the toilet, I think at the very least he could do is make sure to wipe it up with toilet paper or a Clorox wipe. The cleaning supplies even live in a cabinet directly over the toilet. He said, sure, sorry. He would try to remember to do that. Write a note, write a Post-it note. Another week has passed, and while maybe he's doing this sometimes, I've continued to step in splatters of his pee and wipe it off the floor and clean the floor several times a week. I thought about asking him to just pee into the bathtub or something instead because I don't understand how he can pee on the floor by accident so often and not notice and not clean it up. Last night I got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and absolutely stepped in piss for the 123,000 million trillion time. I had it, and I didn't want to pick a fight with him or ask him since it seems clear he can't or won't change. So I got one of my dog's wee-wee pads from when he was a puppy. He is well trained now. And cut it up into bits and taped it down to make sort of a skirt around the floor near the toilet to at least absorb the urine. The boyfriend saw this morning and is furious with me, saying that I'm calling him a dog, comparing him to animals, etc. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking of that at all. I was just trying to be resourceful and solve the problem for myself since I don't like pee on the bathroom floor and don't like stepping in it. I didn't feel like arguing about it anymore, and putting material specifically meant to absorb pee around the area he keeps peeing on by accident seemed like a practical solution. So what do you think? I think that this is crazy, and I would tell him to go pee somewhere else, go to the local convenience store or something, but stop peeing on the floor. I am not a male, okay? So I don't have those parts. But how hard is it to aim? Are you just not handling the equipment? Do you not want to handle the equipment to get good aim? Or what is going on there that you can't get into the toilet? I've never even heard of this. I've heard of and experienced, the usual around the toilet seat. Okay, TMI, I know. We probably have, most of us, been there, even from females, okay, in those public restrooms. Okay, I digress. But how hard is it to get into the toilet? I would imagine that it's not that difficult. So some of the comments read, you are not the a-hole. If you pee like an animal, then it's a perfectly appropriate solution. Really, I mean, if you want to act like an animal, you're going to be treated like an animal. So that is just foul. Another commenter suggested, which is a really great suggestion, I'd honestly consider telling him that he needs to sit down while he goes to the bathroom. I think that this is a good idea. And if he won't do it, then like I said, go to the local convenience store down the way there. What else do we have here for comments? Somebody says that their boyfriend sits to pee in the middle of the night because he's too sleepy to aim and doesn't want to make a mess. Sometimes when he forgets to flush, I see a couple squares of paper on the toilet because he cleans up whatever mistakes he makes on the seat. He is a gem, I tell you. Yeah, this boyfriend seems to be a gem, and maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's at night. She doesn't specify, the OP doesn't specify whether it's at night, what time of day it is, but that could be a reason of why you might not have great aim is at night. I would be so disgusted. So another person writes, not the a-hole, and it's hysterical how boyfriend is angry now. I've known dogs with really good aim, so he's not calling him a dog at all. She's not calling him a dog. Speaking of which, my dog, I have a beautiful dog named Ace, which he will probably make an appearance from time to time. But he's such a good boy. He goes to the bathroom along fences and bushes. He does not go in the middle of the yard. So if a dog can be trained on how to go in a specific location, then why can't a human being, grown adult man? I don't get it. So that is foul. The consensus is from everybody is that this OP is not the a-hole. Another commenter will just finish up with one more comment. My 9-year-old son used to do this. It stopped when I made him clean it up by himself every single time, they say. After about a week of cleaning up pee 5 times a day, he learned to aim. So good on that mom for teaching her son proper aim. I wonder what kind of bathroom situation the boyfriend had growing up. Maybe he had his own bathroom and doesn't mind sitting in his own urine. So yeah, okay. Our next story also comes from Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my roommate that the name she chose for her baby is ridiculously stupid? This is exactly why. I'm just going to digress here a little bit, but I have always heard you do not tell people what your child's name is before the child has arrived on this earth. My roommate, a 24-year-old female, is a big Game of Thrones fan. I have never seen Game of Thrones. Not that it probably matters, but she is pregnant with her first child now. She decided to name her baby Arya, A-R-Y-A. When she asked my opinion of this name, I said it was a good name with a good meaning. Arya means noble in Sanskrit, but a lot of people have named their kids Arya, Kelsey, Sansa because of the popularity of Game of Thrones, and it might be a little too common. Not that that is a bad thing. The next day, which was yesterday, she said she's found a way to name her baby Arya and not have it be associated with the other Aryas running around or the show. How? She said she wanted to spell it as A-U-G-H-R-E-I-G-H-Y-A-H. I did a double take reading that word too, but apparently people are supposed to read it as Arya or Arya, A-R-Y-A. She asked me how I felt about it, and I told her, frankly, Arya looks ridiculously stupid, and she should just go with the regular spelling A-R-Y-A. She got kind of upset and said that she and her partner came up with this only because I told them that the name is very common. I said that having a common name is better than having a confusing name. So some of these comments read, ask her, are you being stupid? I'll be here all night. Yeah, it never ends. Are you having a stroke? Are you parents related? You're just setting your kid up for teasing and getting made fun of. Are you ready for kids? And the comments just go on and on and on with that. Are you able to decipher how to read this stupid spelling of a flash in the pan trendy name? What kind of crazy names have you heard in your life that you know of people maybe close to you that have named their children? Like, we just need to try to set our kids up for success, okay? And not just send them off into the world all ready to be made fun of. It's too easy. It's too easy. It would be nice if everybody was nice out there, but people aren't. People just aren't. People are saying you're not the a-hole. You should not give your name. You should not give your kid a name that looks like it could be a Welsh town. I'm not familiar with that, but there you go. And now for our last roommate's story. This also comes from Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for terrorizing my roommates into cleaning up their crap? Right off the bat, I would probably say no. Okay. So I live with two roommates, a 28-year-old male and 21-year-old female, who are less than helpful when it comes to cleaning the house. Wet clothes are left in the washer for days on end. Food is left rotting in the fridge and in the sink for several weeks if I do not clean it. They also just casually throw garbage into the yard. What in the world? I've asked nicely multiple times for them to clean their mess, and even not so nicely a few times. I have asked. I am far from the most hygienic person in the world myself. I'll leave dishes in until the next day and just general untidiness, but they take it to a different level. All of this filth, since my refusal to clean it anymore, has brought in some new roommates for us. mainly giant rats, which seem to have moved into our yard. Yeah, that makes sense because they're throwing trash in the yard. Like, how were people raised? I don't get it. The kicker is they are both absolutely terrified of rats. A plan soon hatched in my mind, and with a bit of creativity, some invisible thread, and an old bristle broom, and now I had a faux rat. I named him Ronald. Every few days or so for the past 2 weeks-ish, I have been placing it in the corner of the kitchen, waiting for one of them to walk in. Then I yank Ronald as hard as I can at an angle so he shoots towards them. Each time they've ran from the kitchen screaming in fear. I won't lie, I very much enjoyed doing it at first, but kind of felt guilty at having made a grown man bawl his eyes out and thought the lesson has probably been learned. Really? Really? Somebody would cry? Listen, okay. I will freak out if I see a mouse, okay? I will get off of the floor immediately as if the floor is lava. But actually crying at the sight of a rat or a mouse, I mean, maybe if it was trying to attack me, sure, but that's a little extreme. Okay, so the OP writes that he thought the lesson had been learned. So I decided we have to have a house meeting about the infestation and how they don't feel safe in the home anymore. Personally, I don't feel safe with a pan of veggie rice rotting on the countertop for 12 days, but hey, I simply stated that if they just cleaned up their junk, the rats would most likely disappear. Lo and behold, the place was spotless within an hour, and since then there has been a lot less mess. Ronald has been put into retirement and is resting in my bedroom, ready to pounce if ever needed again. But did I take it too far? Absolutely not. They took it too far when they didn't clean up after themselves. They took it too far the moment they threw something out into the yard. Like, these people probably litter while they're driving down the street in beautiful scenery. It makes me realize that those littering signs, $500, there's a $500 fine for littering. Those signs were actually made for people like this. I can't imagine that people would do that, but I guess there are people in the world who would. Some of the comments read, "No, you're not the a-hole. It's great to see OP fixing the problem instead of moving or chasing the roommates off. Good work. You did them a favor. If the rats already moved into your yard and your house was that bad inside, it was a matter of time before they moved in next. In fact, if you can't afford pest control, I'd protect myself personally, or at least take some preventative measures to keep them outside. Trim shrubbery with loose branches or whatever to be a few feet away from the property. Reduce leaf clutter outside the perimeter of your home. Mesh gates on any open holes that vermin can squeeze through." These are all very good tips. Or get a cat. Rats and mice, they can get into your vehicle. They're attracted to the electromagnetic whatever it is from the wires and chew into them, and that can be a really expensive fix. So keep rats away from your property. So maybe that's all that these roommates needed, was that lesson. Another commenter writes, "Curious, once they're already significant numbered in the yard, is it even possible to eradicate them humanely? Like catch and release, or is that only possible while there's only one or two? And obviously you're not the a-hole. I learned the hard way in my first house was the importance of keeping your kitchen clean. The little rats somehow tunneled through the side of my house and lived in, under, and behind the stove for a year, despite me maintaining cleanliness after I saw the first one. They'd already claimed the spot and I was screwed out of a lot of money. Correct these issues now before calling repair companies and exterminators." I seem to think that if you've seen one mouse or rat, then it's probably already too late. You probably have an infestation of them. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but you just don't want to get to the point of even seeing any. So keep your place clean, keep your doors and windows closed, because those are other areas where mice can come in. So let me know what you thought of these stories. If you have any roommate horror stories yourself, I would love to know in the comments below. And what did you eat for your snack? I On a scale of 1 to 10, easy cheese, it is very creamy and rich. I would probably give it a 6.5. Now, it's not as good with the apples as like real cheese, sharp cheddar or something like that, but it's actually pretty good and not as dry as with a cracker. Would I eat this snack again? Honestly, I haven't. I have the palate of a 5-year-old, but I haven't eaten easy cheese in probably decades. And this is more like a snack that we would get when we'd go camping when I was little. So I probably wouldn't honestly get this again, but it was a good memory and not too bad. And I'm curious to know if you thought that this was called Cheese Whiz like I did. So let me know. And thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you'll join me in the next one.